Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, folks. Michael Zuber, one rental at a time, back with the man, myth, the legend, the lazy investor, which hopefully we've made not the lazy deal hunter. In video number one, Mr. Dion from Dion Talk. How you doing, buddy?
Howdy, Mike. Doing great. If people saw how much Skyrim I play with my VR set, they wouldn't call me lazy.
I don't even know what
Nerd.
that is.
I know.
No idea. Sounds fun though. I don't know.
I am super excited about the topic today in this video because this is specifically the people I'm trying to reach.
Awesome. Well, this individual reached out to me. I asked him to cut and paste, forward you a note because I knew these are exactly the people you were trying to speak with. So do me a favor, set up the topic, and then you and I will riff on that said topic.
Cool. So I actually appreciate questions like this. Questions like this spur the idea for conversations. This is somebody who hasn't started yet. They're ready to start with their buy and hold investing. And they're wondering how, if they can retire in 10 years, because I say this often, the average person can retire in 10 years or less and make work completely optional, even if you're not starting from the best position. I'm proof of that. Mm-hmm. But if they buy a property and it only cash flows $250 a month, and Michael Zuber says, get to 4, well, that'd be $1,000 a month. How do you retire? What am I missing? So this is a really politely, correctly worded question saying, first, it was, hey, do you have a video that explains this? Like, instead of taking the time to answer me, which I then did with a book, basically, because I want to help this person. That's the questions we're looking for.
Yeah.
How does this work? How is it worth it if it's only $250 a door?
Yeah. So let's dig in. Again, these are the people we're trying to help. They're trying to get in. They're trying to see it. This is actually a math formula that a lot of people get wrong, right? Whether it's 250 or 200 or 400 or whatever the number is, they take that number and go, hey, I need 10 grand, so I must need 40 properties. And the answer is you need nothing close to 40 properties. Dion is living proof of that.
Yeah, there's two base, I mean, there's probably dozens, but there's two routes that I've looked at the most. Recycling cash flow. So that 250 that's coming in every month gets added to the savings. But 250 for a property means that they're looking at investing the way Millennial Mike does, at a distance, in a very low cost of living area. Where are you going to get that? In my area, just the first house hack added $1,200 to my savings every month. And then each property after that's been around $400 a unit. So a duplex was $800 a month. So the higher the cost of living, the more impact per property. Mm-hmm. The second thing that I think the person is missing here is that's year one.
Yeah.
Right. And I had an awesome conversation with a friend of mine the other day. We were talking about cash flow, and she had focused on cash return. And casually she mentioned, yeah, but my property went up like $60,000. So I have a net worth of $60,000. And I got to explain to her what an internal rate of return was.
IRR, yeah.
So a lot of us are looking at cash flow to look at next year. So that $250 a month is, $3,000. $3,000 in a year. Thank you. You're as fast as Matt on that one. Right. But that's just cash flow. In a year, you'll be able, so I wouldn't use internal rate of return to project the future because appreciation is too much of a gamble. You don't know. But in a year, we'll be able to look back like we can right now at a 20 to 30% appreciation rate in most markets. So I looked at my friend and said, okay, so you've got the appreciation, you've experienced principal pay down. Your down payment is in the property. So this was the first property. So they weren't using that in their calculation. And I was able to explain, like, your net worth is almost $200,000 from one property in 1 year. And that's what's missing here. So $250 a month is great. Cash flow first year will go up. Generally, rents increase and property taxes and insurance don't increase as fast. But you have appreciation, which you don't invest for, but you benefit from. You have principal pay down every single month that's being paid down. The first few years feel like they take forever.
Yeah.
You are only adding that first year $250 to your cash flow if you're investing for a property like this. But in 2 or 3 years, when you have another, that new one, let's say that they all started at $250 a month. That was just the only deals they could find.
That's it. Yep.
The deal now is $300 or $400.
Yeah.
And now you have 2. So now you're looking at $500 or $600 a month added towards your investing. It's the avoiding life creep, not just spending more money because now you have more money coming in and thinking I can get the better car, the vacation, like the bigger house.
No life creep allowed. Yep.
No life creep for at least 5 years.
Correct. Like, you got to get
I waited about 8 and then ran a little crazy with it. But if you can wait 8 years,
life is good.
Life is good. Yes. And so there's like everyone can look at stocks and go, look at compound interest. If you invest 10,000 when you're 20 or 10,000 when you're 50, you have 10 times as much, whatever the math is on that hockey stick growth of compound interest. But compound the ways that real estate pays you.
Yeah.
So you have the 4 ways that real estate pays you. You have cash flow, appreciation, principal pay down, tax benefits, and time.
Yeah.
It's like the 4th dimension. Time is also a factor here.
Yeah. The big one for me is that time factor that all these calculators don't use, right? If you make 250, you need 10 grand, you need 40 units. And this is something you've brought to me because it was so different than the way I did. You did what you have termed correctly the income snowball, right? You bought your first one, you took that excess savings, you piled it on top, you bought the second one. It took 2 years from 1 to 2, if I remember correctly.
And 2 years from
to
the first
to
that
3.
one to the next one.
Yeah, exactly. Then when you start stacking that up, it goes faster. Here's other realities. That 250 first deal is then 350 or 400. And you just get to this point where you can now replace, a 4-figure month with 16 rentals pretty easily. Then there's the way that I did it, right? I got to like year 4. Again, we bought 3 houses on the money we had saved. Every dollar after that was either a cash out refi or a 1031 exchange. We went from 3 units to 80 units, almost like probably 10 or 12 grand of our money to go to that because we were recycling capital. Everything was cash flow, no alligators, the whole story. So you can turbocharge this if that is who you are by recycling capital, which means Norris Drive, we put 20 down, we took 40 out. The 40 never went to life creep. You sacrificed for 18. Olivia and I did almost 15 years. Not $1 of cash out refi, 1031 exchange, cash flow, did anything except buy more property. And as time goes by, it just accelerates. It's 250 bucks a month on your first one is awesome. Just choose who you are. Do you want to be the cash flow recycler? Great. Do you want to kind of step on the gas and do some cash out refis and add more leverage and more risk? Cash out refis are great. We're now sitting in a portfolio of nearly 200 units, not a penny of our own money in the deal. That's a pretty cool feeling.
Yeah, that's why I was hoping that this would be a topic we would both cover, because the recycling capital method, it's exponentially faster. It adds units quicker.
But
and
it
then
still takes 3 years to start, right? That is
Right.
the key. Either strategy. It's still that first inertia. It's slow.
So that I'll probably butcher this, but Meet Kevin did a really good rendition of this on his Bigger Pockets episode, where they talked briefly about somebody who has $20 million in assets.
Okay.
Let's say you have 200 units and 0 cash flow. You just break even. And someone else has no units and no cash flow. So you're both at 0 cash flow.
Okay.
In 1 year, in a regular year, not like the last year where we had 20+% appreciation. So let's just say 5% appreciation. The person with no units gains appreciation on 0. The person with 20, who both had 0 cash flow, and I think they used 20 million in assets, so a 5% appreciation on 20 million, or a 5% appreciation on 0. Those first few years, it's hard to see that. So if you recycle capital the way that you and Matt the Lumberjack Landlord did, and our cash flows were 0 in 1 year, the financial difference is so massive, it's hard.
It's staggering.
Staggering, right.
Again, this is why I was hoping we would do this together. The first 3 years to 4 years, our stories are the same. It's all slow. And then the question becomes, do you want to jump on the gas, or are you comfortable just stacking a couple of units? And there's not a right or a wrong way. I want people to realize that Dion reached his financial goal in 8 years. It took Olivia and I 15.
I have that question come up sometimes. What I really like is the 3 amigos have 3 different perspectives, right? 3 different methods. There isn't a right way.
No.
There's a right way for the person watching. And something that each one of us does will contribute to what works for them. My goal, and we talked about this in video 1 today, I'm lazy. I don't want to have to work. Like I set that goal, and some people experience life creep. I don't experience goal creep. And this is from a sci-fi movie with Chris Pratt. It's so good. Robot bartender advice. Just think about where you want to be.
Okay.
Like picture that. So you want to be married, you want to be on vacation, you want to be wealthy, you want to be financially free, you want to be whatever. When most people get there, they think about where they would like to be from there. Instead of, this is where I want it to be. Enjoy
this is it. I'm here.
I'm here.
Let's have a drink.
I'm exactly where I want to be.
That's awesome. All right. So you got to tell me which movie that's from. So I'll put it in the show notes.
I'll send it to you. Thanks.
Yeah, this is a lot. So again, what I would tell a student thinking about $250 is that's not the number to think about. It's a journey. I think you do have to ask yourself what strategy you like, because I do think you need to know your strategy up front. But regardless, it's the same start. It's the same suck. The first 3 years suck. It's just slower than everybody wants. Sorry.
That's why I think one of my favorite videos I made was the how to get started, the 6 steps to getting started in real estate. It's the one I've sent to the most people, because your goal, whether it's unit count, net worth, financial freedom, simplest, lowest unit count, whatever your goal is, those first 3 years are almost the same.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Learn to save, work on credit score, find out from a lender what your options are. Like everybody can get started the same, and then you can go all the different routes that there are.
There you go. Well, Dion, do me a favor. Where can people find you?
Right here on YouTube, Dion Talk Financial Freedom, and where my live streams are Tuesdays, 4 p.m. Pacific.
Awesome. Thanks, buddy.
Ciao.